Welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show, hosted by gospel music industry veteran, recording artist, songwriter, producer, radio announcer, and actor, Carl B. Phillips. Join Carl as he talks with gospel recording artists, producers, songwriters, pastors, and other creatives about music, ministry, and life. Get ready for another great conversation on the Carl B. Phillips Show.
This week's guest on the Carl B. Phillips Show, gospel historian and the host of the YouTube show Gospel Diaries, Eric Maurice Clark. Welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show. Today's guest, he's a Chicago native currently residing in Phoenix, Arizona. He's an author, gospel music historian, media personality, publisher, and the host of the YouTube show Gospel Diaries. Please help me welcome, and I'm going to use his whole legal name, Eric Maurice Clark. God bless you, man. How's it going?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Mr. Carl B. Phillips.
So one thing I forgot to mention, in all the interview, I always like to ask two very random questions that have absolutely nothing to do with anything that you do. So the first random question I have for you, if you could have an endless supply of any food, what would it be?
Maybe I get in trouble for this, well, my body will get in trouble for this, but like Indian cuisine, I love it. I love curry. I love it. I love it. Give me some butter chicken.
Butter chicken? Yes, sir.
And some naan bread, and we're good.
I was in in Idaho Falls last week, and I found a Himalayan restaurant. And I had the butter chicken. It was so good. That's my favorite Indian dish too. So I could definitely feel it.
But it's so fattening. It's so fattening though. Oh God, it's too much.
Yeah, with the rice and everything that's going on. Yeah. The food won on that one because I couldn't finish it all. It was too much. You're a native Chicagoan. What was family life like for you when you were growing up in Chicago?
That's all I knew. Family, we were very close-knitted. We was a very close-knit family. And I don't know, just embracing both sides of my family, like my father's side, my mother's side. My father's side, they were more secular. My mom's side they're more into the church. So like it was kind of like a balance there. But Mom wanted us to stay more on her side and my father's side, but they kind of balanced it out. But my mom, she was a supervisor. She made sure we didn't listen to this music. She made sure we didn't watch that movie. Made sure we didn't go there. Made sure we was home by this time. So family was just interesting, but I felt loved. I felt the love of family.
You're also the third of four children. Talk about the relationship with your siblings.
Yeah, so I have my oldest brother is 1 year older than me, and get this, the second oldest is 1 minute older than me. I'm a twin, and yes, and I have a younger brother. His name is Daryl. But my brothers, they are my heart. Like I wish there was a girl. I wish we had a sister. But like I wouldn't, don't make me cry for real. I wouldn't trade them for nothing in the world.
Okay, so in all of my research about you, there was nothing that said you were a twin.
Yes. I'm a twin.
What is twin life like?
I don't know what not being a twin is like. So a lot of people ask me that. I don't even know how, I just couldn't imagine my life without my twin, Like we just like, we're like this, a liaison, like we're just together. We shared rooms growing up, everything, our clothes matched. Like it was just like we were one in a sense. Like I felt him, he felt me. Like I knew if something was wrong with him, and like he'd call me. Like it's an amazing bond.
So as adults, do you guys still have that connection? Like you're in one city, he's in another city, and like something ain't right, let me call him.
Oh yeah. Now we don't talk we talk a lot, but we don't talk as much as when we see each other, talk as much as when we were children. But we talk a lot. But I do miss being around him. But as we matured into adults, our personalities changed, or I guess they came more to the forefront.
Mhm.
And there's some things, yeah, I just we need our little space here and there sometimes, But other
So
than that,
you talk about there's four brothers.
hmm
That's a lot of testosterone.
yes,
Out of the
yes.
four brothers, who tends to think that they the daddy in the family?
That's my twin. My
He's the
twin has
boss.
been ruling me forever. He's been the boss. Yeah, that's
when we
true.
when we started out, I was asking you about your how to call you, and your name you go by Eric Maurice Clark. Social
hmm
media is just Maurice Clark.
Yes, yes.
What's
There's
your
a reason.
okay? So let's talk about that reason.
I mean, I've never really shared this publicly, but honestly, like for some reason, I had went through this phase. I'm thinking of how to say this. I went through this phase where I thought that Eric didn't really define me in a sense, and I just wanted to be called Maurice because I went from like, especially when I started working. In my adulthood, like some places I have a name tag that say Eric, some places I have a name tag that say Maurice. But I changed my name on Facebook because I was going through a period where I felt that Eric really didn't define me. Uh, I, I'll just leave it at that. I just felt that Eric was a name that was outside of the black culture. I think that's the best way to put it.
Okay.
And I could be wrong, but but I'm comfortable with Eric again. I've been trying to change it. I don't know how to do it. Listen, I don't do it. I don't have Google search everything, and none of the instructions work. So
Well,
that's why I changed my name.
we in a generation of branding, where
hmm
branding is important. Branding your name is important.
hmm
Like when I got into radio, people always ask me why do I go by Carl B. Phillips.
hmm
And I told him when I got in radio, Al B. Sure was popular. My middle initial was B. So I'm like, I'm gonna be Carl B. Phillips. And
Yep.
that's been my brand for over 30 something years. So,
Yeah.
for you to be Maurice Clark, that's your brand.
But
That's my
I really like my full name. Like I honestly got like if you search me like Eric Maurice Clark will bring up every I just something about the Eric Maurice Clark just utilizing everything. It
yeah.
just is fulfilling to me.
So I had
Yeah.
to be honest. I Googled Eric Maurice Clark. So you're
Oh,
gonna hear
okay,
me
cool.
talk about stuff that I found on Google.
Oh, okay.
You also you talked about your father.
hmm
Your father passed in 2007, and you inherit the family business.
Yes.
What did it mean
Oh,
to you to carry on your father's legacy?
it meant the world. It really did. It really did. But here's the thing. Um, my dad was a collector. He
Mm,
started videotaping roughly in the late 70s.
mm,
My dad had videotapes, VHS tapes, 3/4 inch Betacam tapes from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. There's one
wow.
picture somewhere, but it was just all over the house. And like I appreciated those memories because I've always been like I love to preserve and collect things all my life. But when my father passed away, I really did my due diligence and
Mm,
trying to archive his work. So we were raised in an organization called PCAF because I heard you say PAW, so we were PCAF.
mm,
And so I actually got all the films that he had from the organization, and I actually presented them to the organization. At that time, Bishop Alfred Singleton was the presiding bishop,
right.
and he wanted it, but I don't know, for some reason I didn't, give him those because I had converted it over to DVD. But to make a long story short, I wish I would have because at least I would have that particular collection of his work still saved. Because when I moved um, from Chicago to Atlanta, I put those VHS tapes in storage, and I became fell necklaces on the pavement and lost everything. And
Oh,
that's one of the hardest pills to swallow in life, knowing that I lost all of that history. Like it bothers me so. bad, so bad. Like everything. My dad had Thomas Dorsey's funeral. He had videos from the 80s from the O'Neill twins, Sally Martin. I mean, Michael Jordan's Cotton Club. I mean, Bishop Larry Trouter's Bishop Consecration. Like everything that happened in Chicago. Like even just the family things. My dad videotaped funerals, weddings. He
Mm.
had everybody's wedding. You know what I mean? And people to this day, do you have this? Do you? And it hurts me so bad that I lost that. Yeah.
Wow. You know, a lot of times within, you mentioned PCF, and because I grew up PAW,
Hmm.
we don't have a lot of apostolic history that we can go
Hmm.
find.
Yeah.
So I could definitely understand your feelings of not having that.
Yeah.
What inspired you to pick up a video camera to be like your dad, to say, I want to do this too?
Well, when I was 13, so my dad, and I remember this, we were like in the car, and my dad was like, "What do you think about like I guess doing a play show, like either doing a skit?" And because he always, like the Clark sisters, like if I'm not mistaken, like he wanted us to do something as a family, like the brothers, the Clark brothers or whatever.
Mm.
But he came to me because I was very active, just out there at concerts, interested in this, and at home I had, all of the uh, artists on my walls. It was something else. You know how they have secular artists and basketball teams? I'm talking about I got Dottie Peoples, Shirley C, like, everybody on the wall, and I was just to the point like he asked me and I was like no, I don't want to do that. And then a few maybe the I don't remember the time frame, but it was close. I was like, Dad, what I want to do is I want to do this show where I interview gospel musicians at the time, gospel artists, because I was enthusiastic about this music.
Mm.
And he's like, okay, cool. And my first interview was with somebody by the name of Minister Raymond Dunlap. That's his sister sing with Bobby Jones,
Yeah.
and I always have trouble pronouncing her name. Odelia Dunlap, I think.
Odelia Dunlap out of Flint,
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my sister.
Yeah.
You go to their church, you're gonna shout. Back in the day, Bishop
Uh,
Dunlap's church, you're gonna shout all night
oh
long.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, and that was like the catalyst. So I did that show from like 13 all the way up until my 20s. Of course, I had breaks here along, but I met a lot of people through that show. Still relationships that I have to this day, and it was just a good feeling. Like I remember one time I was in junior high school. I don't know. You remember Reverend John F. Morris?
John Morris, he used to come to our church.
Oh
Him and
wow!
Pam Morris.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So
What's the song? Uh,
yeah, I've been
just for
changed.
me. Doing da da da. Holy Ghost power. Holy Ghost power. Yes, we. Yes.
Yes, I love that man so much. But I interviewed him. Him and my dad was friends, actually, because if I'm not mistaken, if he was AOH or one of those, and my dad was a part of one of those organizations where if he was Evangelist Johnny Morris. So he had a connection with him, and he had recorded that album with Dorothy Norwood and Albertina Walker. And I was like, oh my God, because I was at the release party, and I got a chance to meet Albertina Walker for the first time there. I took a picture. And my dad had one of those instant, like you can take the picture from the video camera and print out. I
Mhm.
had went up there and got them to sign. I wish I had that picture still to this day. But I mentioned that to say that I did a show with John F. Morris, and my school teacher allowed us to watch that during our lunch period in the eighth grade. That was pretty cool.
So the show was Let's Talk About Music.
Yes, yes,
What did
yes.
it mean to you to have a TV show at such a young age?
It was my comfort zone. I felt like because sports really wasn't my thing,
Mm.
but like to be able to mingle and learn more about music, gospel music, like it was my comfort zone. Like it fed me life. It fed me energy. Yeah.
But you're 13. You
Yeah.
should be out playing. You should be out having fun. You're doing a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did your friends react? Like, you don't want to go play baseball. You just want to do this TV show.
Well, it had its balance, in a sense, because of course I didn't. But then again, because I used to, just like I'm doing now, I used to edit those videos too. And at that time, it was 3/4 inch. Everything was analog, so it took way longer to edit those videos and stuff. But yeah, I still got a chance to play with my friends, but there were times that, yeah. Well, actually, to be honest with you, those were my friends. You know what I mean? Because my friends were in the church.
Yeah, because we spent a lot of time in church.
Yes,
Sunday
definitely.
school, Sunday morning service, Sunday
Mhm.
afternoon service, Sunday night service.
Yeah,
I told somebody
yeah,
recently, I don't know how I graduated from high school, being in church so much.
yeah, yeah.
Coming out of Chicago, what impressed you about the legacy of gospel music in the Chicago area?
Well, I can stick out my chest and say, I'm from the city where this great genre originated, and then also too the Bulls. So I'm an '80s baby, so like in the '90s, the Bulls was winning championships. We were the home of gospel music. It meant so much to me, and then also too, I was able to see some of the pioneers at that particular time and
Mm.
legends. So like that was like a priceless experience for me. Because a lot of people like when I travel, they be like, "How does it feel to be from Chicago?" You just have no idea. No idea. I mean, to be there and hear songs and experience the concerts and go to the broadcasts that have been around for years,
Mm.
like it was heaven on earth for me.
What are some of your early memories of going to some of those events?
Well, I'll just use it with this one. Albertina Walker was I gotta say she was my first love. And I remember I found out that she had a birthday concert every year.
Mm.
And I remember, wait, was it? No, it was the Lawrence Barrett Campbell. She had a birthday concert every year. And I remember every time that concert would hit, I knew Albertina Walker would be there. And I remember this one time, I had documented the day. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm about to go see Albertina Walker. And I had my camera ready and everything. And I think my mom took me. I went up there. Oh my God. I was just like, just to see Albertina Walker. Oh, that was just, oh, oh man. Mm-mm-mm. It was just amazing. It's just amazing, just amazing. Because and how I fell in love with Albertina Walker, it was the album she did live in Memphis. My grandfather had that VHS tape over there, and I think what sparked my interest the most was during the duration of that VHS tape, like she gave the history of the caravans and her
Wow.
involvement in gospel music. So it was like, wow, I'm getting a history lesson right here, and then the songs that she was singing is like my favorite is in the Morning. So I just gravitated to Albertina Walker.
Outside of the gospel artists, who are some of your early influences who helped introduce you to the gospel music scene?
Are you talking about like local
Local
musicians?
radio, different people like that.
Um, Honestly, like people like Lavonya Whitley. It was this
Wasn't it a
guy.
happy day?
Yeah,
Wasn't it a happy? I'm sorry. I'm a choir
yeah,
director.
yeah. Because she had a very popular broadcast in Chicago, but I'm trying to think of the other one. So this lady, I don't know if you remember. Her name is Jackie Hassaret.
Don't
You
know
remember
her.
that name?
No.
Oh, her voice was amazing, and like she would come on Sundays. And I just couldn't wait to hear her because she would introduce songs. Because most of the music that I knew was the songs that the choir sang at our church. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So when I listened to the radio, like it was a chance to like learn more music. and just hearing this music, it was liberating to me, you know. Uh, One of the artists I would say definitely was like Mark Hubbard. I don't know if you're familiar with him, Mark Hubbard.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Mark and I've been knowing each other for years.
like he
Yeah.
was one of my first loves too. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, how did you perfect radio? How did that come about?
I think just the habit of just the habit of it all, you know, just continuing to do it because like still to this day, to be honest with you, like I'd be frightened.
When I was doing the research, well, I think you talked about your godfather.
Oh God, yeah. So my
Yeah.
godfather, that was I actually met him through well my TV show because I was at Bishop William Ellis Church, and I think it was a GMWA program. Something was going on, and that's when I first met him. But prior to that, he was on the radio, and I remember it was just a smaller station, but you can only hear it in Chicago. And I was always interested in hearing all of the smaller radio stations because every station played different music. Like
Right.
the main station played more popular music, but the local stations, you know, the community stations play more, you know, music that you wouldn't hear. So I had tried to set up an interview with him, and I think it didn't go through. And I remember I was at the church and he was sitting there, and I read his name because a McFatter is a name you just don't come by often. I'm like, wait a minute, I just called you, you know, to interview you. But to make a long story short, we developed a relationship, and I found out that he sang with the Alex Bradford singers. And oh my Lord, that's I guess he was like my first, like studying Alex Bradford was
Hmm.
like my first assignment because basically what I really wanted to do was I didn't want him. I wanted him to know that he wasn't forgotten.
Right.
I wanted him to hear his music. I wanted him to feel love. So I used to go around to stores and try to find Alice Breyer. And the internet really didn't have a lot of information on it at that particular time.
Right.
So I remember I found a cassette and I show him a picture. He said, "Nah, that ain't me." Show him this. Nah, that ain't me. But then I found one, and he was singing on it. And then I remember one time we went down to the Harold Washington Library to view the Jubilee Showcase because I had found the video of him singing. And actually, Sido Darrows, his son, actually released that footage for me, so I was able to see it. You know, I could see it. You know, at my own leisure now.
Hmm.
But my godfather, he meant the world to me. Like he embraced me. He took me around his friends and his coworkers, and I got a chance to really see gospel music from his perspective, you know,
Hmm.
from that era, and that's a priceless moment for me.
You know, you talked about that era of gospel music. You're kind of like me, where you came on the scene, kind of as that era was shifting.
Mhm.
As you think of the shift from, you know, like the Albertinas, the traditional gospel of Chicago, to the more contemporary sounds that came along in the '90s, how do you feel about the shift? Are you one of those that the gospel of yesterday is the best? Are you open to some of the newer gospel sounds?
Very open, very open because, and I know we've all heard this story before, but I like to like put emphasis on this story. Like Thomas Dorsey supposedly coined as the father of gospel music, but we can, you know, talk about that at a later date. But there's so much behind that. But however, this man literally, I like to put emphasis on it. He was a blues pianist, and
Mhm.
he played the dirty blues, all that stuff, like stuff that was forbidden. And he actually brought that tune, those tunes, the blues, and put sacred text to it. They ridiculed him just like they ridicule the people today. Like it's history is it recycles itself. So long as there's a message in the music, and first of all, you ain't gonna like all music anyway. So a lot of people, you know, it does disturb me when they look down on certain music or different genres in gospel music, I just feel like this: if it ain't for you, it's just not for you, because all
Right.
music is for someone. It has an audience, and we need to stop being territorial as it relates to how we think gospel should sound. You know?
One of my friends taught me something that gospel music will always reflect the music of the day.
Yes.
Like you said, Thomas Dorsey with the blues, what the Winans and the Clark sisters did. Uh, it was the sound of the day when Twinkie took the Stevie Wonder groove and made a song, "Babe, You Brought the Sunshine." Even now, there's a joke going around that gospel sounds so sexy, but it's the
Mm-hmm.
sound that this generation can they're familiar with that pop sound. So
Yeah.
I definitely agree that we have to remain open
Mm-hmm.
because again, each generation is going to have a different sound. Remember being in the service one time with Marvin Winans, and he had a rap group on the program, and he got up and he said, "When I was growing up, G was a letter."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you're one of the fathers of contemporary gospel, and you having a hard time,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I definitely agree. We have to
And
be open.
yeah, and then we have to remember too that music reflects what a person goes through. Like
Mm,
the way they sang in the golden age of gospel music, they were going through this different social dispositions, and like today, like you have some people that are creatives, and then you have some people that are just expressives. Like they're really just expressing themselves, and being a creative and expressing yourself to me are totally different, because like if you're just trying to express yourself, sometimes you're not trying to create this art form. Like you're just authentically expressing yourself. I think I should put it like that, opposed to like getting a music score on paper or things, something like that. It's gonna sound different. And a lot of the music today, most of the music today, some of it is just, hey, we're just creating something for a good vibe. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like you don't have that substance in it. So like my thing is, a lot of times like we generalize with our words, meaning like you don't love your dog the same way you love your wife or husband, whoever the case may be, but we always use the word love. We generalize one word. So I just wish people would understand that we cannot generalize, gospel music. It has a specific category, like, and when we understand that, I think that we can just focus better in a sense,
right. Most
but
definitely. Let's do another random question.
here we go.
Of all the cities you visited, which one has the worst traffic?
Oh, New York.
Okay, I have to agree. Now, Chicago's high on the list too.
Mhm.
What do you feel is the worst about New York?
Honestly, it's like it's nonstop. Like it's just it is congested. Period. No parking. Like I remember I went out there the last time I went out there to interview. I put the hotel in the GPS, and he probably was like probably 10 minutes away, but the traffic made it an hour. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And then I went to the wrong location. It took me a whole nother hour to get back to where I was like, oh God. I said I wouldn't wish this traffic on my enemy.
and you mentioned parking. I drove one time to New York. I flew and rented a car.
Hmm.
$50 a day
Yep.
and no in and out.
Yep. Yep.
Oh no, let me Uber.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Hmm.
2012, you
Hmm.
released the book Addicted to Pain.
Mm.
Some of the topics you covered included rejection, insecurities, and I found this one interesting. I want a spouse.
Yeah.
Why did you feel it was important to share about the causes of pain?
Because like um I was like recycling things, and I didn't realize that that pain was a location opposed to, because I heard a sermon. It was about, I give this really fast. Like, I guess a friend went to the country and sat on the porch. To make a long story short, the guy that stayed in the country had a dog. Every time they come outside, the dog would come out. come to the same spot, and he'll begin to moan, and he was in pain or whatever the case may be. And then eventually the friend came to visit the guy, and he said, "Hey, I've been meaning to ask you, like, why every time I come here, the dog come out here, he moans, he's in pain." And he said, "Oh, that's because he's just sitting on a nail." He said, "Why don't you move it?" And this is the part that got me. He said, "Because eventually, when he's tired of feeling the same pain, he won't keep going back to that same spot."
Wow.
And when I heard that, it made me think about it. Maybe I'm addicted to
Mm,
what it is that this pain. So let's learn how to change the addiction, or lose the to break the addiction. And like that thing came to me, and I've always been a person that I just want to encourage people to live their best lives,
mm,
because life is hard,
yeah.
and I feel like the simplest thing that we have, and the freest thing that we have that we can offer, is just encouragement. A smile goes a long way.
What was
So,
one of the hardest pains that you were addicted to that you found hard to break away from?
hmm, that's a good one. If you don't mind me thinking about it. Lord have mercy. What? Honestly, I, I guess friends. Like
Okay.
I used to, like, I would go certain places, so I guess so I wouldn't feel, I guess, left out or outcast or whatever the case may be. And I found out that I was addicted to, like, being in toxic environments, opposed to just like understanding who I am, and
Mm,
just stay in my own lane, and just walk in my own community. So I had to break loose from really trying to be a people pleaser, like just trying to please everybody in every way, in every facet, of life. And that was really hard, because I got in a lot of trouble as a child, going places that I knew I had no business going, but I felt like if I didn't go, I would have been the outcast or things of that sort. But now I'm comfortable. Like, I'm comfortable in my space. Like, if I'm with friends or whatever the case may be, like, I'm playing my gospel music. Like, that was a big one too, because a lot of people, like, were worldly. I don't like to say worldly people, but people that don't go to church, or people that just don't listen to gospel music. It's kind of like, oh, this that gospel boy, this the,
right.
and it's an awkward space or whatever. But I've learned to be comfortable. Like, there's millions of people that appreciate gospel music, and I so happily to be one of the ones, and I just embrace who I am, you know.
So, how did you get to that point of embracing who you are? How did you get over that fear of missing out on things? I had a friend ask me recently because when I travel a lot by myself. And she's like, how do you do that? Who do you talk to? How did you find comfort in enjoying you?
I guess in time has when time takes its course. Because I think that we have to experience, like, I had to go through those experiences to get to this point, because it wasn't easy, but like, just the course of time, I
Mm,
believe that hardened my, well, I don't want to say hardened my heart, but I guess it kind of removed that pain, and removed, it changed the focus, and, or I'll say, healed the focus, because sometimes your focus can be broken, and just damaged, and sometimes you just got to find something to heal that focus, and I say time, just basically taking time for myself, and just 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 not being scared to be different, daring to be different, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Yeah.
I think a lot of times, and I have this conversation with a lot of creatives, we don't know how to stop and enjoy moments.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, Eric, I've learned now it's okay to stop. It's okay to go on vacation. It's
Hmm.
okay to miss a church service. And I'm sure you know, I understand. I growing up in holiness, we lived
Hmm.
in church, but it's okay. Do you feel that way sometimes now that it's okay to invest just in you and in your space?
Yeah, but see, but I have see. This is me. Like I believe that my passion is what thrives me. So it's just like, yeah, I'm constantly doing interviews. I'm constantly researching and things like that. So yes, it's okay to get. You know what? You're right. A vacation is so healthy. I sometimes I have to no, no, put that iPad down. Put that book down, or turn off the radio. Take some time to relax that brain of yours. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you're right, but it is a struggle for me because I'm so passionate about my work. But it is imperative to to find time for yourself and to find some type of tranquility for yourself. Because if
Right.
not, you will drive yourself insane.
And I think a lot of times, like I said, as creatives, we most creatives are 10 projects down the road already.
Yeah,
But sometimes I've had to learn, let me stop for a moment. Let me go to the
yeah,
park. Let me go walk
yes.
on the riverfront or something just to zone out,
Mm-hmm.
just to have some time that I can be inspired again because in what we do, you'll get to a place of burnout easily.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that burnout space?
Yes, I felt burned out. I with Gospel Diaries, because it's an ongoing struggle, because it's me. Like I'm doing everything. Like
Yeah.
I do the research, I do the traveling, I do the film work. Like every aspect of it is me. Like people reach out to me. I do my own itinerary, all that. So like, yes, I feel burned out, but I know that I was called to this. This is my life, but I do feel burned out at times. I really do. I really do.
So they've started calling me wise counsel because I done got old. So my wise counsel to you, find some time.
Hmm.
You know, if you're in a city, stop trying to just fly in and fly out the same day. Find some time to enjoy the city.
Yep,
You know,
absolutely.
find some time to go someplace, find a new restaurant or something, or schedule some downtime. Because even like with what I do, I'm the only person that's doing it too. I'm running a radio
Hmm.
station, doing these podcasts, plus still work a 8-hour job, active at church. But I've had to learn, Eric, to stop.
Hmm.
Just stop because I find myself not being able to be creative
Hmm.
because I've burnt myself out just trying to
Absolutely.
do so much. And recently I learned the power of no.
Yeah. You said recently.
Recently I learned it's okay to say no
Hmm. It
because
really is. Yeah.
yeah, because people will pull you in all type of directions and they'll try to use mind games to make you feel bad because you can't come to this, you can't do that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You brought up Gospel Diaries. It's a YouTube show honoring gospel music legends. In an interview with Shout Atlanta, you stated, I take pride in talking with gospel legends, getting to know them as human beings, learning and telling their stories. Why were you led to honor these legends in gospel music and capture their stories?
Because I feel that gospel music is an underrated genre. I
Mm,
feel that most people in gospel, well, now it's changed to a certain degree, but I felt most people in gospel just didn't get the recognition that they should have.
right.
And I want people to really appreciate the art,
Mm,
to appreciate the culture of gospel music. And that's why I felt it imperative to do Gospel Diaries. And the thing that really gets me about Gospel Diaries is like, I love going in person. I
right.
go to their element in their space because as a child, you know, I've heard radio interviews or, audio interviews, but it's nothing like seeing a person's body emotions and just being able to vibe the presence and things of that sort. So that's why I think it's important. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite stories that you've heard while interviewing these legends?
Esther Smith, she's a good one. Like, just like like her like her, if I'm not mistaken, her father murdered two people, and she went through a hard childhood, and just understanding like how she was able to just triumph through life or persevere through life.
Mm-hmm.
And she's beautiful, like she's like 88 if I'm not mistaken. And like her story, it just amazes me. And then like the Barrett sisters, just like it's just fascinating, um, hearing their story, how they grew up in the church, and how they were, reared by, some of the premier and pioneer artists of that time, and just going back to that day, to that era, just them talking about the different struggles. And the thing that gets me mostly is like the one thing about this, I love a good song that tells story, or they mention something that's a current event, you know what I mean? Because it lets you know that what you're going through, you like it just didn't start like this morning.
Right.
It's been people going through the same thing that you're going through for years, decades, you know what I mean? And that's hope to let you know that you can get through it. And that's why I really love hearing these stories. I'm like, why? Especially when you kind of align it with some of the things that you're going through. You're like, wow, they got over that. They went through that. Oh, I can make it.
You mentioned Esther Smith, a great Detroit gospel artist.
Hmm.
I discovered Gospel Diaries when you came into Detroit and you interviewed the legends, including Esther Smith, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, Lisa Page Brooks, Rudolph Stanfield, Andre Woods,
Hmm.
Twinkie Clark.
Hmm.
What was it like speaking to those Detroit legends?
It was so powerful, so powerful. Like it's just moments. Like I feel like I'm blessed to have surreal moments. Like um, to call Vanessa Bell Armstrong, to call Lisa Page Brooks, to call Bishop Andre Woods, to call Rudolph Stanfield, to call Mama Esther Smith in a room together to capture a history moment right there.
Mm-hmm.
It, I'm like, really? Really? Oh my God. But then too, like a lot of people don't know, like a lot of my interviews, like they're the same days. Sometimes I feel like I have preached three sermons or five. I'll be worn out. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
But it's nothing better than the gratification that I get from just seeing the smile on their face. And one thing that really gets me too is I love it when they're shocked at the information I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to make it seem, especially I think I got it from interviewing a lot of older artists. I want them to feel like they're talking to an old friend, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of their friends are gone, and it's like a lot of people can't really communicate with them because they really don't know, the people that were in their lives, or their co-workers at that particular time. But I think that's one of my specialties, that I'm able to have conversations with people, and it seems like they're just talking to an old friend. You know what I mean?
Who are some of the people on your wish list for future interviews on Gospel Diaries?
Man, John P. Key, Diedrich Haddon. Diedrich Haddon and John P. Key. Yes, yes, Lord. Yes, yes, Lord. But it's another name. I don't know why it slipped me. I'll probably think about it later on. But John P. Key and Diedrich Haddon. Yes, I would love to interview them. It was someone. Oh, Ricky Diller. Man, I would probably faint. I'll probably faint if I got the opportunity to read. I know it's coming though. It's coming though. It's coming. It's coming.
One,
And
one thing, one thing
huh?
I found out: just be loyal and faithful, and
Hmm.
God will give you the desires of your heart.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I've been trying to interview Dietrich for I'm not going to say how long, but we know each other. But
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, just keep being faithful, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
People will discover you, and then they'll
Hmm.
just want to be a part of you.
Which I'm glad you did say that. Like honestly, like this Gospel Diaries has blown my mind. Like I can't go any. I'm telling you, that's got true. I can't go anywhere with somebody not recognizing who I am. And like when I look. you got John P. Like John P. Key posts my videos on his wall. Erica Campbell liking my videos. Ted Wynn. And what really got, I saw Donnie McClure. I looked on, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And then it's just like I'm in spaces where people like they watch my videos, and that's like it's an honor, you know?
You
It
know,
really
that
is.
that's one thing I noticed because a lot of times when we're doing these videos or things like that, um, you feel proud if you get 10 people to watch it. You got
Mhm.
thousands.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like that really gets me because when I started Gospel Diaries, I was kind of embarrassed because I'm like, who is gonna want to listen to somebody talking to some older people about, and I had to really I went through a moment there, but I still was liberated by being in these people's presence. And
Mm,
that's really what kept me going. And what it just took time. It really did. It just took time for the recognition to come. But now and I know it's a lot more growing to do. But right now it's just like I'm at a point where I feel the appreciation. It's not a day, and I'm being honest with you. It's
mm.
not a day that not go by that I not receive like some brand new inbox. People email me, they mail me items. I mean, this is one person that lives out in Baltimore, Maryland. I think he lives out that area. I mean, he makes me hats and African attire and stuff, like just because he loved Gospel Diaries.
Wow.
Yes.
So what's next for Eric Maurice Clark?
Man, just really trying to pitch Gospel Diaries or try to just bring it more to the masses.
Mm,
I think that's what's next for me. Just continuing on this journey and making things happen. That's and honestly, I really want to get a nonprofit off the ground because I want to do concerts where we go into cities and we just honor the legends that are there and like have like a tabletop discussion like with older generation music artists and newer generation music artists and just have them just collab together,
mm.
hear their thoughts, just and document those discussions.
Man, that sounds awesome. How can people reach you or follow you on social media? How can they
Yes.
contact you and how can they watch Gospel Diaries?
Yeah, so Gospel Diaries is via YouTube. You can just go to YouTube, type in Gospel Diaries. Now there's a whole bunch of episodes, so I don't know where to begin, but start somewhere, please. Or go to my website, ericmauriceclark.com. And my email address is ericmauriceclark@gmail.com. And yeah, it's out there. And I want to hear from you. Give me your feedback.
Yeah, I was going through your YouTube page. I'm like 2025, 2024, 20 videos here, 20 videos. Like this young man been working. And I salute you, man, for what you do because I know it's a lot of work, but you're
Mhm.
needed. We need someone like you to capture the golden era of gospel music so that it's documented, so that down the road somebody can go back and watch. This is
Yeah.
how we got here. This is how this artist got here. This is how this story became to be. So I thank God for you. Thank God for what you're doing. I'm praying for you, man, that God has sent everything you need so that you can watch your dreams become reality.
Mhm.
As we wrap up, talk to someone about going from being addicted to pain to being victorious in pursuing their dreams.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta trust the process. Like sometimes like we're so inundated with the mountain before us that we can't see past the mountain and the other side. And like it's really important to trust the process because a lot of times when we see the mountain, we say, you know what, forget it. It's too hard anyway. I'm gonna just continue to stay addicted to whatever it is, or I'm not gonna pursue. Like even at businesses, sometimes just getting the legal documents together and just organizing it, sometimes that can be a struggle. But like if you really look at the mountain, you will never get over the mountain. So like I just want to encourage you to like persevere, like push through the pain, because if there's pain, trust me, it's gain after the pain. So like just trust the process. Trust it. That's what I'm doing.
And you're doing an awesome job of it. I am so excited to have had this opportunity to speak. Again, your whole legal name, Eric Maurice Clark.
And I must say, I love your interviews. I listened to the one you did with Lisa Page Brooks. I listened to you did one with Lillian Loy, and a few other. I love it. I love your presentation. I just really want to tell you that I appreciate you. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. You know, Lillian, she talked about in the interview, she was a 19-year-old member of my state choir.
Mhm.
And I didn't even know it until years later. She walked up to me. She was like, I wonder what happened to you. You taught this song that you wrote. And she starts singing it. And I'm like, oh my God.
Mhm.
But sometimes, and I'm sure you understand this, when you're interviewing people, they bless you more than you're
Yeah,
blessing them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, guys, make sure you go check out Gospel Diaries, Eric Maurice Clark. Great interviews with some great legends in gospel music. And I like to close by saying what I say on every show. Remember to work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and dance like no one's watching you. God bless until we have the opportunity to meet again.
Bye.
The Carl B. Phillips Show is produced by Carl B. Phillips for Prove Me Productions. For more information about Carl B. Phillips, visit carlbphillips.com. Subscribe to The Carl B. Phillips Show on YouTube or your favorite podcast outlet.